We think that the ASEAN market, Southeast Asia, has a lot of potential because the EV adoption is still relatively low.
I think also people are quite interested in any sort of updates that you have in the business in the U.S. right now. Do you have a sort of sales forecast right now set for the U.S.?
But first, Tesla analysts lose sleep over Q3 margins. Rivian stock now attractively valued. Fisker eyes Chinese frontier and more. Biggest EV stories of the week. Electric vehicle stocks turned in a lackluster performance in the week that ended October 13th, with the volatility in the broader market serving as a drag on a week during which inflation and the start of the earnings seasons took the spotlight. Market leader Tesla had a down week ahead of the release of its earnings report. Bullish analysts expressed concern about the company undershooting margin expectations. The most crucial metric this quarter is the auto gross margin. I'm pretty sure they said that about last quarter's results as well. While the street estimate pegs the figure at 18%, Black's projection is 17.1%. In my bear case, I have Tesla's gross automotive margin at about 16%. Anything higher should be considered a win. And I don't see too many ways that could happen unless they actualize some of this deferred revenue when you're talking about the adoption rate of full self-driving. But when you're dealing with Tesla, nothing's guaranteed. You should come familiar with expecting the unexpected. A key question this time is what Tesla's management will communicate during the conference call regarding whether auto gross margins in the fourth quarter will drop below those of the previous quarter. The margin should take a hit unless there's some miraculous figure that they're going to pull out of their ass that would overshadow the lack of volume from the previous quarter. By all accounts, this report should be a negative one in the eyes of the news media. Gene Munster said the 11.5% price reduction accounting for vehicle mix, high margin vehicles such as the Model S and the Model X versus the more reasonably priced Model 3 and Model Y, resulted in a roughly 26% decrease in gross profit. He modeled auto gross margin excluding regulatory credits to come in at 17.5% to 17.8%. Meanwhile, Tesla shareholders are all focused on the way forward. Shareholders owning approximately 3.1 million shares of the EV pioneer are keen to know the number of Cybertrucks the company hopes to deliver in 2024. There will definitely be questions on the call regarding the Cybertruck. While that will be rather interesting, the only two topics I'm really concerned with, 4680 production and how many miles we have driven on full self-driving. How Tesla chooses to answer questions on those two topics will garner major insight on future product lineup and how close they actually are to maybe solving for autonomy. Cybertruck news, awesome. Future factory plans, sure, I'm interested. That dog will hunt, and I'm here for it all. But those are my two major topics that I need to have discussed on the earnings call. Tesla, meanwhile, lowered leasing prices of the Model 3 and Model Y EVs this week, taking down the lease payments by as much as $100 a month. This is in line with the company's recent stance of making EVs as affordable as possible. Analysts throw their weight behind Rivian after worries concerning the cost structure and the dilutive impact of the proposed $1.5 billion convertible senior green note offering exerted downward pressure on the shares of Rivian Automotive. A number of analysts began to see the stock as undervalued. Fisker looks to expand into China. The highly competitive Chinese market will likely get a new entrant soon. U.S. EV startup Fisker said it intends to open its first Fisker lounge in Shanghai. Lucid's delivery delay unnerves investors. Premium EV manufacturer Lucid, which typically releases its quarterly deliveries within the middle of the month, has yet to release its report. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. Chatter about the company reporting a dismal number began making the rounds. In the first half of the year, the company produced 4,487 units and delivered 2,810 units, while targeting a production of over 10,000 for the year. Good luck with that. Ford incentivizes F-150 Lightning Legacy automaker Ford is offering a $7,500 discount to buy or lease its F-150 Lightning. This is the largest discount that Ford has ever offered on the F-150 Lightning.
Obviously, you last month announced a lot of investment plans into Indonesia. This is after, of course, getting into the U.S. market. Talking a little bit more about India as well. I'm just wondering, what is your view of the ASEAN EV market now?
We think that the ASEAN market, Southeast Asia, has a lot of potential because the EV adoption is still relatively low. However, all the governments are setting very aggressive targets for the market. Vietnam being part of ASEAN, so we're very bullish on ASEAN, and we intend to move into ASEAN aggressively, starting with Indonesia.
You're talking about some serious investments taking place here as well. Do you think you're going to need to raise more money given your debt profile?
Ooh, out the gate with some pretty tough questions. Vinfast is a very small automotive manufacturer with grandiose plans. There is a race to produce a highly compelling vehicle that comes in under $30,000. Everybody in the automotive industry needs to be moving with this level of urgency, because when Tesla's next-gen vehicle comes out, that'll be game, set, match, folks. To have any modicum of success, you need to be in a segment that Tesla has yet to enter. Rivian sees this with the truck. As Jim Farley insinuated, the Ford electric van, he sees great potential. Why? Because Tesla has yet to enter that market. It is vital that you get there before they do and possibly garner some of that market share in that segment.
As a company like us, of course, we will continue raising a lot of capital, and that was the reason why we listed on NASDAQ. However, we also have support from our chairman and Vingroup. So for the next 18 months or so, at least we still have the support from them.
Are there other countries that you're targeting as well within the region as well, and where and what in particular?
As we announced in our Q3 earnings result, we are targeting to enter up to 50 different markets by the end of next year. So Indonesia, India, other markets that we already announced, like US, Canada, in the Europe, like Germany, the Netherlands, France, and there are many other markets that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and you've got, what, 50,000 vehicle sales is your target. How are you going to get there, and how is your journey to that kind of target going now?
We are in the process of launching vehicles one by one. The ramp up always takes time initially. However, we are I would say, the only company that have 7 EV models that have been announced, at least, and 4 of them are already on the market. We are on target to get to 40 to 50,000 vehicles to be delivered globally this year. I think as we launch more vehicles into the market, and as the consumer getting more familiar and with our vehicles, and as we deliver more, we should be able to meet the target.
What does that mean for profitability? Do you think VinFast will break even by the end of next year? And could it actually be profitable by 2025?
We have been, the last few years, it's been building the foundation for VinFast. So we have invested heavily on this whole lineup of 7 vehicles. We have invested in the manufacturing facility in Vietnam, and getting ready for other facility as well. We are in a very low-cost location in Vietnam, but it takes a little bit of time to ramp up and to optimize. I think we're on a good track toward break even and profitability. Can't give the guidance as to when we can be profitable, but I think we're tracking it quarter by quarter.
What kind of support are you getting from the government to set up a factory there?
We negotiating, I mean, very, very similar to the process that we ran in the US. We talking with various different locations, different states, and nothing is finalized yet. So we would like to announce when we're ready.
Just going and having a look at this, Thuy, what are you going to do? I mean, we saw that when you had your IPO, that you saw the stock price just fly up. I mean, 500% or thereabouts. It was quite something to watch. Now, of course, it's come thundering down ever since then, but you've only got 1% float. Is more equity being put on the market soon and helping you with your cash position in particular?
The market was quite unexpected after the listing. However, I think the customer or the investor kind of recognize, first time they actually heard the story of Vinfast and recognize our potential and our commitment to the EV revolution. I think we don't really watch the share price as much because we focus a lot on execution and on what we have ahead of us. However, I think that eventually as we deliver to our milestones, then the share price will stabilizing at the price discovery. You're right that we started out with a very low float. However, as we announced about 2 weeks ago, we released more shares into the market. So there are about 76 million shares that we released to the market. A portion of that will still be locked, but the rest of it is going to add to the free float on the market. And also we are working on a lot of transactions in the background so that we can increase the investor base as well as putting more shares into the market.
Yeah, I think also people are quite interested in any sort of updates that you have in the business in the U.S. right now. Do you have a sort of sales forecast right now set for the U.S.?
Well, we give the forecast for the whole global. Right now we're in the process of signing with the dealers. So depending on how many dealers we can sign between now and end of the year, that will decide how many vehicles they can take between now and end of the year.
And there we have it, folks. VinFast has chosen to go with a dealership model, which doesn't make me feel good. Now, I have no intention of investing in the company, and I do wish them the best, but dealerships tend to be where EVs go to die. Automotive manufacturers, especially EV startups, should be eager to bypass the dealership experience for their consumers.
We think that this year is mostly going to be about signing up the first group of dealers so that we can start delivering cars and selling vehicles and utilizing the network that this a very special dealership group already have with their customers.
In conclusion, all eyes will be on Tesla's earnings on Wednesday. I'm not sure whether or not the stock will react positively or negatively, but there is one thing I am certain of: it will be volatile as After taking a hit, analysts seem to be in full favor of Rivian. Fisker looking to expand over to the Chinese market. Lucid reluctant to share their delivery numbers. That's never a good sign. And Ford offering never before seen discounts on their F-150 Lightning. And VinFast's global expansion is turning heads. That's all I have for you today. Be easy. Peace.